Hi YouTube, this is just a quick video of my thoughts and a review of the Retro Freak. Now, I collect computers, consoles, etc, etc. All, I had a Commodore 64 as a kid, and now later in life I'm collecting the systems to be able to play as many games as I can, as easy as I can. I have the SNES, Master System, Game Boy. I have all the systems this emulates as real systems, but for me space is a premium and I wanted an easy way to play the games and also to be able to collect the games. Now I started off over a year ago. I bought a Retron 5, which at the time I thought was absolutely wonderful, but the system only lasted me about a month. The cartridges had death grips. The first thing to go on it was the wireless controller. It stopped working, couldn't get wireless controllers to work. Then the cartridge ports got in such a poor condition, the system completely locked up, and the only thing I could do was kind of patch games and play games via patches. But that was a year ago. I was thinking about buying another one, thinking, well, maybe they've got it sorted out by now. And I came across Retro Freak, and I've been looking at it for quite a while, and I couldn't obviously get one apart from getting it from Japan. Now I've seen them on eBay a couple of times. It is coming out in England. I think it's February, Funstock UK. I've got pre-orders of them, but I saw the basic edition here on eBay. I think it was for about £190, free shipping. So I went for it and got it. My first impressions was this came in the box, which was about this big, and it was so light. Literally, with the unit inside it, it is this light. I actually picked up the box and I thought I've been scammed here, but no, luckily enough it came, and this is the basic edition, unfortunately, which doesn't have, if you buy the premium edition, which is a little bit more, you get a little dongle you can plug in which you can use the original controllers. This is not a major deal for me, and I can always pick one up later if I like. Now this is the size of the main unit. You've got your Mega Drive games go in there. Also I've got a PAL base mini which allows me to use the Master System games. You've got your SNES Super Falcon games go in there, and you've got your Falcon games go in there. If you want to use NES games, they do sell a NES adapter, which I think if you buy the British one that comes out in February, it will come with it. Or I've ordered an adapter which I can just put between the cartridges and it will load my NES cartridges in. You've got your TurboGrafx 16 slot there. I've only got one TurboGrafx game at the moment. Got a Turbo Duo, but hopefully I shall get some more. You've got your Game Boy Advance, and your 3 USB sockets. Now the controllers here aren't wireless. That's not a deal breaker for me. You've got the controller that comes with it, the Retro Freak controller, which as many people have said, it's modelled on the SNES controller, and it really is very good. You've got your menu button there and your options button there. But the really good thing about it is you've got your USB ports there. It can use so many joysticks. At the moment I've got a PS3 DualShock, sorry, not DualShock, without the DualShock in it, and I'm using that wide. It works brilliantly. the menu button goes back to the menu. It works really well. On the back of the unit you've got a power supply, and coming from Japan I was a bit worried I would need a great big massive converter and that, but no, it's just a small 2-pin power supply, goes in the socket. It's a dual voltage switch mode power supply, so it works fantastically. There you've got an SD card slot up to 32 gig, which you put it in the back, and once you put your ROMs in, loads them onto the SD card slot, you can take the cartridge out and then you don't need the cartridge anymore. Also, you can just basically put the ROMs on the SD card slot if you want, but my reason to get this now is to collect games. I've got quite a good collection of role-playing games, etc. for the SNES. Mega Drive one's getting bigger, GBA one's getting bigger, and I'll put them on here, load them into the cartridge. Great, good to go. And this looks as good, if not better, than the Retron 5 did. That's what I did like about the Retron 5. The games look so good on the HD television. And yes, I've got a full Hyperspin launch box set up with all the emulators on there and that, but this is just so much more convenient, and it is so much fun getting a game off eBay, putting it in the system and playing it. I've got to agree, when you've got the whole library on there, you just don't know what to play. You know, it's silly, it's psychological. But another feature unit's got, you can see how light that is that is the actual brains of the system. That's just a cartridge adapter. If you don't want to play with your cartridges afterwards because all your games are on there, that's all you need. And you've got your 2 USB ports there for your joystick, and of course that's your power unit. Absolutely brilliant. I can't recommend this system enough. I'm going to put a short video afterwards of just a quick overview of the features of the unit. I'm also just going to put a short video on how I updated mine and put the cheats on there. I can't take any credit for that. I got that from other YouTube videos and websites, which I will link to in the description. Thank you very much. Okay, now the Retro Freak boots up to its main screen. It's quite basic looking, but better than Retron 5 was. You have the internal memory, which I believe is just over 3 gig, and you've also got a micro SD slot. Now I have 2 micro SDs. One is to catalogue my own collection, which I bought this machine for, and the second one is to put the complete ROM sets on so I can try the games out before I go hunting for them. The only disadvantage of having a mega full SD card, is it can take up to 5 minutes to recognise the card on the first boot up. But once the machine's booted up and the card is recognised, you're good to go then until you turn the machine off. Now it is quite simply a case of getting your game, put it in the appropriate slot, it loads the cartridge. Now there it's told me it's a secret mana. It's automatically saved the data from the cartridge onto the computer, so the saved data is there, and then it asks you whether you wish to transfer it to the SD slot, so you say yes. So now it's transferred it to the SD slot, and if I take a look on here, Super Falcon games, if I go down there, Secret of Mana, Now it's free to take the cartridge out, put it back in its box, because this is quite an expensive game to buy. So that's as easy as it is to load a game into the system. As you see, it's come up as just SFC at the moment, but after you run it, you can quit out of it. That's not a very good example because where I'll quit out of it, but like with the other games, it gives you a screenshot of where you quit out. Just quickly show you the Falcon game. I don't have many of these. I think I've got between 5 and 10 at the moment, but I am looking for a lot more now. I've just ordered Star Wars off eBay, the Japanese version, which after looking on another YouTuber's channel, it is very good. I currently only have one PC Engine game at the moment, but I'm going to now be hunting around, and if I can find some at the right price, I think the games look very good on this system. Quick showing you of a Game Boy Advance game, and I have emulators. I have a Hyperswitch set up, but I just can't get them to look as good as they do on this system. And it is just so convenient, the features you've got on this system. You've got audio, video settings, aspect ratio. Not a lot of people like it, but I like to use the whole screen, so I've got a stretch. You've got image filters there, which has got a really good little guide there. It gives you kind of a guess on what it's going to look like. You can have scan lines on and off just to emulate an old CRT. I'm not sure what display overscan does. Refresh rate, match game, and you've got the screen size, etc. Now, one good thing on this system, which the Retron 5 was supposed to be able to do, but it ended up busting my cartridges and never working properly, is you can transfer the saves from the cartridge onto this machine, but you can also transfer them back to the cartridge after you finish playing, which is absolutely brilliant. I've got Super Mario RPG on here, and I've also just got a Super Boy, so it's going to be really good being able to go between the systems. Also, the Game Boy Advance, I want to start. I love Final Fantasy, but I've not played the early ones apart from 4. So I've just ordered Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I've got a Revo handheld unit. I can play it on the cartridge on there, do a bit of grinding, get home, transfer the saves across, carry on at home. Absolutely brilliant feature. Another feature this has got, which the Retron 5 did have, is you can have patches. You see there, I've got Final Fantasy 5. Okay, that's just crashed. I believe that was because I turned it off the last time I played it. And the save state got corrupted, so let's just try again. As you can see there, it is actually in Japanese. But what you can do is you can download patches. Now you've got to put this on your micro SD card in patch directory, and you go to game settings, select patch. There you go, you've got my Final Fantasy V English patch there. Patch expects header. For SNES games this needs to be turned off most of the time, I'm pretty sure. You just close that. That tells you the autosave, which was the last one, was in Japanese and it's not compatible with the patch, so you just type yes and press play. It's reset the game, and now Final Fantasy V Japanese version in English, which I think is an absolutely brilliant feature. I'm going to really look forward to getting in some fan translations. Now, you know, my view is, yes, you can play a Hyperspin emulator and you've got all the wheels, but this is just so much more convenient for retro games. I showed you the size of the unit earlier on without the cartridge port on there, and it is so tiny and easy to carry around. With the automatic save states, etc., it is just so convenient. Now you've got the settings menu there with the automatic console region, auto load state, auto cartridge on insertion, automatically input saves, periodically backup in game saves, etc., etc. You've got your write firmware update to SD card. That writes a firmware update, which I'll explain later, that you then put in your computer, go onto the website and gives you an update, which they have updated this recently. If you buy it from stock, you don't get the Game Gear Sega Master System 3 compatibility. And just one thing just to show you. There you are, I'll get the hit. Go back to the main menu. It's as easy as, I'll show you how to do it as well in the link afterwards. You've got the cheats there. It's just a matter of downloading the cheats, renaming the file, and then you've got a lot of cheats for a lot of games. There you are, so now I'm invincible. I'll tell you, I've had a lot of fun on this game the other day. I went loading the cartridges into the system, and I just ended up playing there. You can actually turn the master cheat control off there. But on the whole, that's plays game. Again, that was just crashed because the last time I turned it off, the save state was there. So if I just go to Game Boy, that is the only flaw I've found is when you turn the system off, don't have the game still open, because it then corrupts the save file. But it's only such a minor thing. If you remember not to do that, there isn't a problem. So, on the whole, a great system. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to carry on loading the games I've got onto my SD card, and I can carry on playing away. As I say, at the moment, I'm really happy with the system. I did say that about the Retron 5 when I got it, but unfortunately that system only lasted a month. If this one at the moment looks like there's no death grip on the cartridge ports, so I think it's going to be great. I hope this helps. Thank you. Now, when I got my Retro Freak, it came as stock. I read a couple of YouTube guides on how to do it, and this is how I updated my one. Now, my one obviously came from Japan. It's an import. The Europe ones will be coming out later. It's looking like the website's getting done for Europe slowly, but at the moment, because mine's a Japanese unit, this is how I've done mine. I downloaded this initial file, then I put it on the memory stick in the root directory, booted up the RetroFreak, and it automatically updated. And that update was 2nd of 4th 2016. So then what I done is you go on the RetroFreak, you go into the menu and you ask for an update request. Now that writes it to the RetroFreak, and I've just got to find it. Then I went up here to the update, which said 26th of the 10th, 21st of the 10th 2016. I clicked on that. You click on the update, it asks you for the update request file on the SD card. You click on that and then it gives you an update. Again, you put that in the RetroFreak and it updates it. You need to do this to get the extra systems on there, the Game Gear, etc. But after I'd done that, I was good to go. Again, I can't take credit for this. This was the actual page I found it on Sega Nerds, and it worked like a dream. I shall also link that into the description. Right, this is a guide on how to get the cheats working. I've left a link to this Atari Age forum. That's how I found out how to do it. I can't take any credit for it. I'll leave the link in the description. But it's just as easy as downloading the Retron 5 cheat files, renaming each of the files. The Game Boy ones you name to Game Boy GB all across the board. You make a folder in your RetroFreak, cheats in SD card root, RetroFreak cheats. You put all these files in there after you've renamed them and you're good to go. The cheats will be recognised. Unfortunately, the TurboGrafx cheats are only for the Japanese games and they're in Japanese. So that's a quick guide on how to do it. As I say, it's all explained in this really good document. So there you go.